This is Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, and your eyes do not deceive you. That is a PMDG 777-200ER released only yesterday, and I can't tell you how excited I am to finally have a high fidelity study level Boeing in the new sim. It's been a while coming, but I'm going to tell you straight off the bat, this is probably the best optimised add-on aircraft I've ever used. Honestly, the performance is so smooth. And we're also loaded in at the 2020 version of the Builds Heathrow scenery, which I'll admit I've always struggled with for performance. So this is going to be a real test, and we'll take a quick walk around of the external model, then we'll perform a takeoff so we can really test that performance out, and then we'll also check out the cabin as well. And for full disclosure, this is not a sponsored video. I have purchased the plane myself, so you will get my honest opinions. Okay, so just before we start, I also want to show you the updated Operations Centre 3, which you'll now use to install the aircraft, so no more two-factor authentication. So here it is. All you do is download OC3 and then head over to the PMDG website to make your purchase, and then it'll appear in this window here where you just simply click to install. Honestly, it took me about 2 minutes, so super simple. And then once it is installed, you just click on the aircraft, and that opens up this window here, and that's where we install all our liveries from. As you can see, there's loads to choose from. The only one I've got installed at the moment is this BA livery, but it is really simple to do. In fact, let's install this ANA livery here. So click the green install button, and there we go, just a few seconds to download the files and extract the package, and that's it, and that's installed our ANA livery. So yeah, plenty to choose from, and when third-party liveries also become available, we can also install those from here too. Right, so that's my brief overview of the new Operations Centre. Thought you might just be interested to see that. Let's press on with our walk around then, shall we? And as we've come to expect from PMDG, the modelling is second to none really. Here's our static ports, look at those reflections on the fuselage, really nice. As we move around our nose, we can see our pitot sensors there. Looks really good. And I think it's worth saying at this point, this is actually a completely new plane. Look at this nose wheel gear. Some really nice details on that too. So yeah, it's a completely new plane built from the ground up for 2024. So we've got new textures, new sound design. I know they did receive a lot of flack for the sound design on the 300ER, which they have listened to. And there's also further enhancements to come for the 3-engine variants, which we will talk about now. So they've included a choice of the Pratt & Whitney 4090, the GE90s, which is what we've got here. Look at these fan blades, really nice. So yeah, we've got the GE90, and they've also modelled the Rolls-Royce Trent 895 series engines, and they've all got their own unique characters and sounds. So we have got a lot to enjoy, including this fantastic wing which they've modelled, which is unique to the 200ER. And if we make our way along the leading edge to the end of the wing, you'll see it hasn't got those extended raked wingtips that the 300 has. It's a bit more stubby, so yeah, again, offers its own unique characteristics, and it's all really nicely modelled as well. So yeah, really happy with that. We've got our landing gear here, again with our brake pin indicators, which do wear down over time, and the tyres do get grubby, as they did on the 300. And again, we can see our brake pins there. So again, all really nicely modelled as we continue to move along to the rear of the aircraft. Just have to mind we don't trip over this cargo loader. Give it a bit of a wide berth, but it is looking absolutely fantastic, especially in the sunlight. All these reflections. Got some more water points and waste point there for the lavatories, all modelled. And we can see our rudder just sort of hanging as we move around the tail towards the APU exhaust. There we go. So yeah, it's all there, it's all looking good. We can also see these outflow valves all modelled and open as we move along and down towards the landing gear on the opposite side. And in fact, let's take a look at the fueling truck. That's in position and doing its thing. If we just come around the front, we can see the fuel lines going into the underside of the wing, all looking really good. And that is pretty much it for the exterior model. So what we'll do now is make our way back up to the flight deck and I'll get the plane out to runway 27 left, and we'll do a bit of a test departure so we can have a look at how the plane performs out of Heathrow. So I will catch up with you again when we are on the runway. Right, here we are then. We are all set and ready to go. Everything's configured in the MCP. We've got our initial climb altitude, runway heading, LNAV and VNAV is on, and our V2 is also set. Everything overhead is looking good. So parking brakes released. And we'll go to about 50% on the throttles, and downward nose wheel pressure on the yoke, and toga. And we'll just have a listen to those GE90s. It does sound really great, doesn't it? And as I mentioned in the intro, I'd normally have a bit of a slideshow coming down the runway at Heathrow, so this is a vast improvement. Now rotate. Positive rate of climb, gear up. Now let's get the autopilot on then, set, and if we have a little pan around the flight deck, you can see it's still nice and smooth, not dropping any frames too badly. In fact, let's move the tablet out of the way so we can see the departure a bit clearer. And we'll also take a little look outside. That is superb. Again, look at how smoothly we're panning around the plane. I mean, I'm not one for really getting too hung up on checking what frames I'm getting, but if it looks and feels right, then I'm sort of happy. Okay, let's have a little bit of a walk through the cabin then, just to see how they've modelled that. Again, the sounds are vastly improved from a cabin perspective. Now, you can manually change all the cabin lighting from this panel here. I've actually got it set to automatically change with the time, but we'll take a look at that in a moment as we move through into the business class cabin. Looks pretty nice. Now let's take a look at the IFEs, and all these screens have a real-time boot-up process as well when you switch them on from the flight deck, which is really nicely done. As we move into the first galley area, again, all looks pretty cool. If we move over to the door, all the door locking mechanisms are animated as well, as you can see here. So let's carry on through then. And I think what we'll do is take a seat with a bit of a wing and engine view. This one here looks pretty good. Let's take a seat down here. Look at that. Okay, so let's carry on walking down towards the back of the cabin then. See what it starts to look like in premium economy. Not bad. And then finally we've got the economy cabin right at the back. And again, I'm still getting a pretty solid performance as I sort of pan round and move through. So yeah, I'm really happy with how this is working, I'll be honest. Wasn't sure what to expect, but again, PMDG have done it. Never in doubt really, was it? And just before we finish up, let's wind the time on a bit so we can have a look at some of the ambient night lighting from within the cabin. So let's wind this all the way along. See the lighting starting to come on now. Just a bit more, there we go. A little bit more, there we go, that's pretty good. So that's what it would look like in the night phase of a flight. You can see all the no smoking and seatbelt signs illuminated. We'll switch those off in a minute. Okay, let's put the time back to live then, and then I'm going to find a nice suitable seat to take for the rest of the flight. Let's go premium economy. Just here will do nicely. Okay, I'm going to leave it there for today, guys. That concludes my first look and walk around of the brand new PMDG 777-200ER for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. And I can't tell you how happy I am to finally have a PMDG in the new sim, and as they continue to feed the rest of their product line over, I can start to fully transition over to 2024. But that's it for today. There'll be plenty more 777 content coming to the channel. If you did enjoy the video, give it a like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks very much for watching. Bye bye.